Welcome back to my Learn with Me knowledge share session. Today we are going to continue on the same topic, cloud platform integration. In that, a very interesting topic called RFC Adapter. You know about the RFC in SAP system. That is a functional module which perform the business operations so that we can use that functional model can be called or consumed from the external systems to do your business transactions. Okay, the functional model, the prerequisite is that the RFC, the functional model what you have written in the SAP system, that should be set as a remote enabled. Okay, so that the external system can consume that function model. So today we are going to see how we are going to consume the RFC remote function model in the SAP system from the CPI Iflow. So now you can see the picture now. This is a very simple blueprint of consuming an RFC inside the SAP CPI. Okay, so the postman or whatever the external system will call the integration flow adapter as the endpoint. Then the request reply will set a connection to our SAP system through a RFC adapter. Okay, previously we saw many things by calling this request reply connecting to external system via HTTP or OData, whatever the case may be. So today we are going to focus on how we are going to connect to consume the API or the data from the external system via RFC adapter. So RFC by name itself directly mentioning a remote function call. Okay, this is what we are going to see that in our demonstration today. Probably I will break this videos into 2 to 3 videos. The first video will explain you the step by step the requirement to establish the connectivity between the CPI and the SAP system. Then second section we will see how we will put how the configuration to be done exactly. I will show in a practical way inside the CPI and as well as the inside the cloud connector. And the third section will tell you about the real Iflow design and execute and consume a data and show it in a postman. Okay, so this is what this first session is going to do that. So we will do the exercise now. The first video I will show you the simple presentation of the configurations behind the connectivity. Once you understand that, then we will go to the practical way. Okay, thank you. We will see that the second section quickly. Presentation now. Okay, now this is what we are having the situation, right? The left side you are in the internet, it's in the cloud, where you are having your cloud platform CPI installed, and you are having some sub account. There are 2 sub accounts you are having, one for development and one for production, and your sub account name is, assume that it is AC0001. Just I am giving a hypothetical name, but just understand that you are having a sub account called SAC0001. On the right side, which is in a secured environment behind the firewall, probably your on-premises system where you are having a SAP systems. You have a development, you have a quality server, and you have a production server, which are identified by a individual IP address and the port numbers. Okay, hope you know these things better. So this is your exact setup which you are having, and our focus point is like RFCs. Assume that in the one of your server you are having following 3 RFCs. This is ZCP1 RFC1, either CP1 RFC2, and either CP1 RFC3. There are 3 function modules which are remotely enabled, so that this can be consumed from the external system. So this is your setup right now. Now what do you want now? I want to access this function model from SAP, from CPI, right? See, this is what our requirement. So this is your expected connectivity from CPI through RFC adapter. You are connecting to the one of the systems, and you are going to use the one of the resource inside that. So remember, you are connecting to a system, and inside that system you are going to connect to one of the resources. So these are all the jargons we will be using in further sessions. So system and resources. So the connectivity will be established in this way. You will be connecting to one of the system, and inside the system what are all the resources you are going to be using it. In other words, from this system, these are all the resources which are exposed to the outside world, right? This is what our requirement. Okay, now go to the what is the requirement for it. To do this connectivity completely, you need to have one intermediate section called a cloud connector. You might be knowing about that, but just for understanding I am repeating again. So there should be a middleware or a mediator that is called cloud connector, which will connect the two different systems from the cloud to on premises or cloud to cloud, whatever the case may be. Once the cloud connector is installed, there are a lot of videos on that. I will put that in the description, but I am not going to install the cloud connector because I already have that, but I will give you the steps how to do the installations. Okay, once that is installed, then the second step is in the cloud connector. That is, we will, let us just for understanding, we will say a agent or a mediator. In that cloud connector, we should add the sub account to the cloud connector. That means this SAC0001 should be registered in the cloud connector, so that the cloud connector will understand, okay, this is the registered person is coming in, so that it will allow it. Second thing is, once that is the first step, left hand side. The right hand side, this in the cloud connector you have to register what are all the systems you are going to expose it. That means, suppose you are going to expose SAP Dev and SAP Production only, then you will register these two IP address inside the cloud connector. So that is the third step. Fourth step, once you register the IP address inside this cloud connector, inside this IP address, that is a system, what are all the resources you are going to expose it. So it's very particular. You are exposing your resources in a very micro way, that this is my system is exposed. Inside the system only these three are exposed it here, so that you cannot access anything other than this. Okay, so the resources can be RFCs or OData services, whatever the case may be. Finally, okay, now completely established. Now finally, but how this cloud connector will understand this particular destination, right? I want to reach this destination means, so the cloud connector will inside the cloud connector we will create some destinations, so that we call it as a destination. That destination will point to this IP address separately. It's nothing called a pointer. Okay, that is what we are going to see further now. Okay, this is the first step that I called the cloud connector to be installed. So then now the cloud connector is installed. You have a CPI left side, you have a right side you have your SAP systems, which have 3 separate systems: dev, quality and production, identified by the different IP address and the port numbers. Okay, so as I told you, the first step is completed. So how to install the cloud connector, I will give you some notes on that in the description. You can go through that video, which is very good in the explanation, and you can do that. The recommendation is that the cloud connector should be installed in one of your SAP landscape, right, between this network, and the requirement is that it should be something like 120 GB or sorry 16 GB RAM and some hard disk space. The minimum requirement. Either you can install it on a Linux or a Windows system. Okay, so this is generally done by the basis team or the network team, and as an application consultant you can just rely on them and they will install and give it to you, but the configuration part you have to do it. Okay, hope now you understand what is a cloud connector and do that. Okay, now we have to establish the connection. The second step is this SAC 001 should be registered in this cloud connector. Okay, so log in into the cloud connector and there is an option called add sub account. In that add sub account you will add this account. Okay, once you log into the cloud connector is login by a user ID and password that we will explain in the cloud connector section. Okay, so there is a option called add sub account. In that sub account you will mention all the necessary details of your SAP sub account. What is the name, what is the region, everything like that. Okay, now this is established. Once you added it, so now the cloud connector and CPI is connected by a sub account. Now we added only SAC 0001, right? We did not add the another sub account called production sub account. So from CPI only SAC 01 can be connected to the cloud connector, not others. So for every sub account you have to register it in the cloud connector. Okay, now so the left side connection is completed. Now you are going for a right side connection. So under each sub account, what are the systems, linked systems? In the cloud connector there is another option called link the systems. Okay, through that you can start giving the what are the systems you are going to link to it. It will ask you what is the actual internal IP address, internal port, virtual address, virtual IP address and virtual port, and what is the protocol you are going to connect it. There are two types of protocol we have, RFC and HTTP. So we are focusing on RFC connection now. So I am going to connect this development subsystem. So I gave it a system name called what. This name is your name. You can give whatever the name you want. So I will give my IP address and everything, and what is my protocol, connection protocol. Once it is established, then you can have a connectivity check. So it will tell you whether it is reachable or not reachable, whatever the case. So once it is, the status is showing a reachable, that means from cloud connector you can access this development server. Okay, so now the system is linked, but no resources are exposed, so still it's not useful now. Okay, so now what you have to do is, once the system is linked, there is a sub level. In that sub level you will have another option, add resources. So in that resources you will mention these function module names. So the connectivity is established like that. From the cloud connector you are linked to each system. For each system, what are the resources linked to it. So link to the target system in the cloud connector is established right now. So at this place now you are almost near. From the cloud platform you connected to the cloud connector via your registered name called SAC 301, right? It is simply like a very simple example I can give, that you contact your bank through your registered mobile number, right? The same way. So I am connecting to the cloud connector via the registered sub account. From the registered sub account, now I have access to these systems and these resources. So the connectivity is established. So finally the destinations. Once the cloud connector established, connections are done, again come back to your CPI. In the CPI there is a option called destinations, create destinations. It is nothing like a pointer to the systems you defined in the cloud connector. So this destination pointers we will be using it in our RFC adapter. Remember, these destinations are just a pointer to your systems in the cloud connector, which will directly link to this. Okay, so once the destinations are created in the cloud platform, there also you are having an option to check the connectivity. That will, if you clear, once the destination is created, there is option to check the connectivity. That will tell you whether the connection is successful or not. Once the connection is successful and established, then you are completely done with that. Okay, so this is the final setup we have. I have a sub account. That sub account is connected to the cloud connector. The cloud connector is having a resources which are exposed, and from CPI through RFC adapter, I am using the destination pointer. I will connect to the system and connect to the server and do my process. Okay, this is what the total the connectivity configuration behind the RFC usage. Not only RFC usage, even for OData also the same thing, but today we are going to see only the RFC, so that I will use the name RFCs. Okay, so you got it now. Just a quick review. So this is my overall blueprint. To do this, what I want is, I have two different systems, one from CPI, other from SAP system, and these are connected via RFC adapter. For this I need to have the cloud connector. From the cloud connector I have to register my sub account in the cloud connector. Once the sub account is registered, then I have to register my exposed systems in the cloud connector. And not only exposed system and as well as the exposed resources. The resources could be RFC OData, like that. Finally, a destination pointers to be created in the cloud CPI. That destination pointers will be used inside the adapter, whether it is a OData or whether it is RFCs. Okay, so this is the final view. Okay, that's all. Now this is how the final CPI is going to do that. I have a sender that will call the Iflow endpoint. Endpoint will have a request reply that will connect to my SAP system via RFC adapter. In the RFC adapter, in the properties name, I am just going to give my destination name only, nothing else. Very simple. The simple is in Iflow, but the remaining are the cloud connector configurations. That has to be established correctly, then this portion will go very smooth. Okay, you will connect back and return. If at all any error, the exception process will trigger. So the destination name points to the linked system in the cloud connector. from the link to system cloud connector, connect to the URL what you mapped it in the SAP system. Okay, I hope you understand the concept now. Now in my next video I will show you the cloud connector configurations. Okay, bye. Thank you.